In this video, I will show you how to retip hair extensions for a client. In this case, the strands were completely removed from the client, all of them. Therefore, we will work with what we have in this specific situation. However, if you are doing retipping when a client comes to you for a maintenance appointment, it is better to do it in stages. Let's assume you are removing the temporal or occipital zone, whichever is better. In this particular case, please feel free to do whatever is most convenient for you. For example, you could remove a specific zone and then go ahead and retip it. So at this moment, let's carefully count out, say, 14 strands, so that you end up with approximately plus or minus a few, depending on your preference. On the scale, it turned out to be 6 to 7 grams, let's say 7 grams of hair, so it doesn't matter how many strands you have. Right now, these strands were not formed using the beat machine. This was done either on a different device or by hand. The capsules themselves were formed either that way or using the tape method. Because the fullness of the strands varies, as you can see, there are thin strands and thick strands. Maybe they got mixed up, I don't know, but the main thing for us is what ended up on the scale. At the moment, we have a total of 14 strands here. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now, pay attention to the fullness, meaning they are different. Some are thicker and some are thinner. We are forming this on a comb. That is, gather all the strands together so that when we are trimming and cutting, the length doesn't get lost or slip away. We have carefully formed them in this specific way, and now we are placing them onto the scale to measure. Let's put them on the scale. It turns out that we have exactly 7.7 grams. That is to say, this is specifically in case we decide to trim away the old strands that were there. That is literally just a tiny bit, maybe half a millimeter of length will be gone. And at the same time, maybe we'll reweigh 1 gram now. That is, why exactly do we need to place 6 grams on the cartridge? That is, why do we specifically take 6 grams? Well, it's because essentially we need to be very precise with our measurements. We take 7, then I trim. We trim. We are left with approximately 6 grams of strands, which we need to place on the cartridge. In this specific case, we are looking at 14 strands here. Now, if you take those 14 and divide them by 6, well, that is exactly what you get. The result is 0.42. That means we are talking about 42 milligrams. Not a full gram, but specifically 42 milligrams. This calculation effectively gives us the precise weight of one single strand. So, accordingly, if you find that you need a lower weight for a specific strand, you should simply lay out a little less than 7 grams of hair. Now, we carefully fix the capsule onto the comb, then gently tap it into place just like this, and finally, you should immediately trim off any excess capsule material to ensure everything looks clean and professional. Somewhere around plus or minus 1 centimeter. We've trimmed the capsules. You can also take the time to carefully comb through the material, and once that is done, we proceed to weigh the individual strands. Right now, the scale shows exactly 7 grams, but it is important to note that there can be a variance of plus or minus 6 grams when you are calculating the final total weight. Now, if we take 7 grams and divide that by 14, it equals exactly 0.5 grams per strand. Yes, that is correct. Not 1 full gram, but just half a gram. So, to be precise, it is 0.5 grams or perhaps 1.5 grams, depending on your specific needs. Yes. Now, the next important task is to carefully straighten out these hairs. We need to do this because we will be placing them onto the carding tool next. We must ensure that they are perfectly even. Yes, we need to make sure that they are completely even and aligned before we proceed. We definitely need a high-quality hair straightener to properly straighten the hair. Next, we have carefully prepared an additional 7 or 6 grams of product just to be ready for the next batch. You place it on the carding tool in the same way, holding it down, holding the strands with your hand, and securing it. Everything is just the same as in the additional courses where we explain how to lay out the hair and how to pack it. Let's repeat. We set the temperature here approximately, right now it's at 180 degrees. We adjust based on the temperature itself. If it's too low for the hair, for straightening, we increase it. If it's too high, we decrease it. Suddenly the color of the paint is being chosen. In this way, we comb it with the comb that comes in the kit, which is glued to the table. we smooth out the strands, that is, using the tongs, additionally styling them with our hand styled combed. This takes 3 seconds, well, maybe 5 seconds. We remove the tongs and our strands are already straight. After that, we need to trim them. If in this specific case we have a little bit extra, we can trim it or simply trim them using. To proceed with this step, you will need to carefully install the insert to ensure everything fits securely. How exactly do you trim them? We are going to go ahead and do it on purpose right now. Everything is fine here at the moment. Let's assume your strands have shifted. I'll shift them on purpose like this now. To avoid any loss, we secure the valuable items. Strand. Start by using your thigh to apply firm pressure, pressing down steadily on the material. Then, press the strands themselves into place and plant your hand on the table to stabilize. Finally, take the insert included in your kit and use it to tap the strands into their final position. Hold the strands, literally in about 3 or 4 taps. You already have these hairs tapped down. The ones that are long, you won't be able to cut them slightly. A very important moment is when transferring. You need to hold it firmly right here and make sure to keep it nice and taut. When you are transferring the strand from one hand to the other, always take your time to make sure you secure it properly. At this moment, you can comb it through, but keep holding it firmly here. Lay down the strand itself. Press it down with your hand. And then I comb it. Yes, we comb it with a comb, and we combed it thoroughly with a comb. Press it down without lifting the strand because, well, they might get used to the hand, you might get nervous, and the hair might stick. Secure it firmly with the plate, then take your hand away. Now, place both of your hands flat on the table. Please hold onto the table securely and make sure to press the plate down firmly and evenly. Don't crush it with a motion like this. Press it down evenly, firmly, press hard. Press hard, and the strands will spread out for us. Evenly across the cartridge. If somewhere with a motion like this you can correct something, some moments, and lower it onto the hairline. Like if here, well, so that the hair were laid out evenly. It's not necessary. You don't need to comb through here. Lowered it down, that's it, everything. If you feel that you need to go over it again, you can press down and comb through these specific strands. And additionally reshape it right here. There I have lowered it down carefully and pressed it firmly with the clamping bar. It is absolutely essential that your strands, the hair, well, you need to make sure they are evenly spread out from this stopper all the way to this stopper. That's it. And now you carefully lay the hair down right there onto the device itself. Don't forget to maintain that forward motion so that if any loose hairs got trapped into this slot while separating the cut itself, they can easily fall out and then move backward. At the same time, you should ensure you must leave a precise 4 millimeters margin all the way around. Make sure that everything is perfectly even. Then carefully secure it in place with the clamping plate. It is pressed down firmly and then combed through carefully. And now follow everything step by step, just like in all the previous lessons. I turned on the electric clipper. At this point, carefully take it and secure it firmly in your hand. Once you have secured it, turn the clipper back on and begin to trim so that there was a clearly defined sharp line left behind. Line. Next, everything is the same step by step, just as you do during encapsulation. If the tongs are clean and you don't have keratin from the previous extension, or if the keratin has burned, it's better to wipe it off with a regular cloth or even something paper-based. Whether you place one strand facing up or down, it doesn't matter. You can flip it from the bottom That is, you need to secure it there. Initially, you just coat the hair itself. At the moment, my fan is not turned on, so the air is quite still. I'll go ahead and turn it on right now. We really need to turn on the fan so that all of those strong keratin fumes are effectively blown away from the workspace. And with the first stick, we go over the section 3 or 4 times to carefully secure any individual hairs that might have been missed or didn't get fully coated the first time around. Now we make sure to coat every single strand thoroughly and evenly. Even though a single pass might leave it looking more or less okay, that is not enough for a high quality finish. To make it truly proper and professional, you really need to take your time and coat it well. We secure one stick and rotate it slowly to ensure full coverage, and then we move on to the next one, repeating the process until every part is perfectly coated. First, you need to make sure that everything is perfectly even, and then you can just close it up and remove it. So we've applied the keratin, and we can see a clear, perfect line. And for the second and subsequent times, everything is just as per the instructions. We coat the strands. If everything works out as planned, we also need the same 14 capsules. We take a comb where we will have exactly 14. For these strands, it will work out perfectly once we form and divide it all sufficiently. We have already heated it up, and now we are continuing to heat it up while inserting the comb. And then carefully separate the strands. If we are not happy with how they have separated, we can gently heat them up again to adjust, but we must be very careful to make sure we do not go past the limit. The line, and we have already formed them all together. It's best to prepare these 2 strips on the table in advance so that we already have them ready with the tape. It is certainly possible to do this, and we carefully fix these strands firmly in place. We ensure they are cut to the exact length that we need. Here it is. As you can see, we need to be precise and leave exactly 3 millimeters of the capsule length. Everything is now completely fixed, or if you prefer, we can carefully press the capsules themselves using a pair of scissors. Please make sure to hold firmly onto the device while you do this, and then take your time to gently remove any remaining tape residue. You really need to glue it together. Next, we open up the remnants, and then we have everything we need. Here are the formed strands.